Hello Canada, welcome back to another edition of the Canadian Citizen Journal. I'm your host, alias Tagai. We have got some bombshell stories going down, like seriously explosive material to go over today. Just never ends in Canada. We have got independent journalists being arrested. People who spit on cops being let free, which I'm not even going to show you. Actually, that was kind of a yesterday thing, but I'm just bringing it up. We have cops being lit on fire. We have got more evidence involving the Liberals, how they were involved with the CCP, with the whole PPE and Wuhan virus. They knew about it, which we already known. Keenan Briggs actually kind of got had some documentation. Cops came right to his house, kind of threatened him. This was years ago. I'm going to do an episode on this a little bit later, kind of specifically on that, because Viva Frey did this great interview. I've been trying to kind of manipulate it, and I'm having a hard time because I have to watch what I say. Now, I'm pretty explosive. I don't hold a lot of stuff back. I like to push the edge, and that definitely hurts my viewership and how I get pushed out. And every time I say certain words, all of a sudden my numbers plummet. And of course, I can check all of the algorithms to kind of maintain and watch that. So I've been testing it over time, and if you watch my previous episodes, you'll see how I've kind of dabbled on this. So there's certain things I can and cannot say, and then there's other things really I don't give a crap. You have to say them, and if I get censored for it, so be it. People need to know, and there's certain things that I shouldn't have to walk around, and I'm going to kind of expose that today. As well as the Liberals have been caught, their war room, which means Carney and everybody's all aware of it, have been planting buttons at conservative rallies. It was actually done at a conference that was held, trying to make it look like they are pro-Trumpers, which we know that actually the Liberals are more pro-Trump idealism than anything, especially using him against Canadians, which we're going to get on that too, how they fearmonger. But I'm going to link this all to how the left is literally, if you've studied anything to do with our past and the growth of fascism and what happened during World War II, we are living it right now. I'm even going to show you a post that Gad Sad put on there, and if you don't know who he is, make sure you follow him. This guy is one of the greatest intellectual minds. I have nothing but respect for him. He's amazing. You know what? Let's just dive right into this. This is going to be one heck of a show. We're going to start off with what? Yes, they are arresting independent journalists. Thank you very much to Alexandra Lovey. She is with Rebel News. Again, one of the great journalists doing her job on the beat, wearing the soles of her shoes out to get the information out there. I had her posted on yesterday as well. They were at the Hamas protests. We're calling it pro-Palestine, but we're actually Hamas supporters. Let's just get started and take a peek at this and tell me if this is this the Canada that my grandfather fought for? Your grandfather and grandmother fought for? Listen to them cheer too. This is disgusting. Look at her wrist. Look what they're doing to her wrist. See how they folded her wrist over backwards? That hurts. I know that move. It's a technique. It's jiu-jitsu.
Ça répond de façon. Hey, c'est une femme, là. C'est une journaliste indépendante. Qu'est-ce que vous faites là?
Get out of the way, you piece of shit.
Elle a pas fait de voie de fait. va le voir sa caméra devant monsieur.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Canada, this election is so important. Now, I had just found her actually when I was trying to find as much footage as I could about what was going on with these protests. I just kind of discovered her. She calls herself at Natasha Montreal. Again, an independent journalist, mom, she just wants to show people what the mainstream isn't showing you. She's not out there shit disturbing. She's not a hater. She's a Canadian. She's just trying to show what's happening in Canada and how far down we've fallen. And the cops arrest her. In the meantime, Hamas supporters are spitting on police officers and being let go. It's just disgusting. They're actually, Daisy, he ended up, I saw the one where he ended up the welt on the side of his head. And of course, they can't find the guy because they're all masked up. This is what evil does. Now, this is what Alexandra Levay says. She's breaking Montreal police arrest independent journalists at Natasha Montreal while she reported on the pro-Hamas protest here in the Old City. The mob cheered as the SPVM works on their behalf, which they do. They do. Our cops they're working for these, like, our country is falling. This is so disgraceful. This is after her and I were assaulted openly by the unruly crowd. I'm going to post the link. Watch the whole thing. I always urge you, Rebel News, they got some really good reporters. Alexandra Levay is one of my favorites. Like I said, she walks the beat. She's out there. She's chasing the story. She's got the nose. Great journalist. Make sure you tune in. Rebel News. Like I said, I put the links down here and below. This is absolutely disgusting. Now, to give you an idea how far down Canada's getting, okay? Now, this is Gad Saad. If you don't know who he is, look him up. Listen to him. Read a lot of what he writes. He is, like I said, one of the greatest minds of our time. So, he just kind of posted this and he left the names out, of course. Gad Saad, a Canadian fan. I love you, Dr. Saad. I love your work so much. Thank you for fighting for us. He says, thank you. Fan says, I'm Jewish. I can't believe how much anti-Semitism there is now in Canada. The economy is horrible. Immigration is out of control. Canada is doomed. Gad Saad, do you mind if I ask who are you voting for in an upcoming election? Canadian fan, oh, the Liberals, Professor. Gad Saad, do you think that the problems that you mentioned might be due to the Liberal Party? Canadian fan, yes, Professor, but we are liberal people. We are not conservatives. This is the problem with liberal card holders. For some reason, they think that they have the identity of what it is to be Canada when they're actually allowing their party, the new Liberals, because they're not the old Liberals, this new fascist liberal government, to do what they're doing, because guess what? They're liberal card holders. We're the real Canadians. If you're anything else, if you're NDP, if you're conservative, if you're PPC, if you're Green, you're not Canadian. Only Liberals are Canadians. This is the mentality that Canada has to deal with, and this is why we're in the troubles we're in today. Absolutely disgusting. And thank you so much, Gad, for posting that. People need to see that and be aware of it. He's awesome, man. Gad Saad is just amazing. Now, on to the actual button issue. So, they are uncovering buttons. Now, CBC broke this story. CBC. I've had it on all day. I saw one little clip. It was done very kind of simplistically, and they haven't touched on it since. That was it, the end of it. In the meantime, every hour on the hour, they're doing nothing but hacking and lying about conservatives. It's disgraceful. CBC is just disgraceful. Again, so they're going to say the story, they're going to bury it on the back pages, and then be like, oh no, see, we're fair and just. This should be on the cover, the first 5 minutes of every CBC news story every hour in Canada. Because people need to be aware of this. This was directed from the war room. I went to go looking for the clip, but guess what? Somebody had actually already cut it, and that was Stephen Taylor. Thank you very much. He has put a Liberal campaign-sanctioned false flag operation. It was an operation undertaken by the Liberal War Room itself. 2 operatives went into the conference and planted these buttons in an attempt to tie Conservative supporters to the politically toxic Donald Trump. Listen carefully. This is the only snippet that they gave.
The party is accusing the Liberals of attempting to bring American-style politics to Canada. Liberal operatives reportedly planted buttons with divisive messages at a Conservative conference in Ottawa last week. But the campaign trick seems to have backfired. CBC's Kate McKenna broke the story and has more.
So last week I covered this conference, the Canada Strong and Free Networking Conference, and it's an annual event where Conservatives from across the country come and meet and talk about issues. And while I was there, I noticed a couple of buttons that I thought were strange. One said, "Stop the Steal," which is an apparent reference to the 2020 movement to overturn the U.S. election results. And the other had the name Jenny Byrne crossed out and replaced with Corey Teneycke. Byrne is the Conservative campaign manager, and Teneycke is a longtime Conservative strategist who has been critical of the ongoing election campaign. So it's conceivable that people at this conference made these pins, and in fact, I spent time last week trying to prove that, but recently I learned it was an operation undertaken by the Liberal War Room itself. 2 operatives went to the conference and planted these buttons, and in an attempt to tie Conservative supporters to the politically toxic Donald Trump. I was having dinner with friends, and I saw some people who I recognized to be Liberal staffers. I overheard the person next to me, a man, who had already identified himself as someone who was working in the Liberal War Room, and he's talking.
That means Carney is aware of this and part of this. Everything in the war room goes through the head of the snake. Everything.
Talking about how he was at the conference and planted these buttons in a Liberal campaign-sanctioned false flag operation. So I confronted him. He knew I was a journalist. I said, if you did that, then that's a story and I'll report it. At first, he conceded that he had said that, but once I said it was going to be a story, he denied having said anything at all. So I left shortly after, and then at a separate bar, a Conservative source told me another Liberal campaign staffer was also talking about it. So the next day, I put in a request for comment with the Liberal Party, and they didn't deny it. It's not unusual for political parties to play tricks like this during...
Now, listen, this is CBC. This is normal. This is normal politics. Is it? Have the Conservatives done this? If they have, let me know in the comments. I'll report on it. First I fact check it, then I'll report on it. I haven't seen any of it. None of it. CBC. Making it sound like we're going to downplay the story. This is normal. It's not such a big thing. Everybody does it. It's okay. It's okay. Like a Liberal once told me. Oh, well, corruption's normal. It's okay. It happens. Yeah, and now that same idiot is running for the Liberal Party in a riding he doesn't even live in. Of course, Liberals.
A campaign, but it is unusual to hear about it from them.
That reporting is from CBC's Kate McKenna. The Conservative...
And there you go. And then, another person on X, Brian Passifim, Liberal Party just emailed me a statement regarding Buttongate. Thank you ever so much, Brian, for putting that out there. Nice for us to have this information. This is what the letter says. This is the most important election in a generation because of the historic economic crisis that is facing Canadians today. That they put us in, duh. And the Liberal Party of Canada will continue to run a positive campaign focused on building Canada strong after many news reports last week about Conservative infighting, which is all lies, and prominent Trump allies being hosted at this Canadian Conservative conference, which is all lies. It has been reported that Liberal campaigners have created buttons poking fun at those reports. Poking fun. That's not poking fun. That's American-style politics. Now, they're accusing who of being Americanized? Trumpers? Really? Interesting. That's kind of a fascist way of putting it, wouldn't you say? Blatantly lie, twisting the truth, making them look like the better one. Yeah, nothing new here. Which regrettably got carried away. Oh, just got carried away. While it is worth noting that many materials being shown online have nothing to do with members of our team, the party has acted quickly to review the matter. It was the Liberal War Room, and at least 2 of them got busted saying that they were involved. It's a Liberal War Room. Carney knew about it and would have had to have okayed it. Or those staffers would have been fired for doing it. As leader, Mark Carney has also made it clear to the campaign that this does not fit his commitment to serious and positive discourse. Yeah, right. Sure it does. Now, here's the interesting part. And again, I was going to look it up, but these people on X are amazing. They're amazing. I ended up finding it, but he just narrowed it down, boom, posted the act with the pictures. This is just too simple. I'm just going to say it like it is. Fred Delory. The Elections Act S91 bans false statements to mislead voters. S320 requires authorization tags. Violations can mean up to $50,000 in fines and 5 years in jail. Sure, those buttons may seem like a small prank, but they may also be criminal. Now, do you think after this stuff is going down, the cops are really concerned about Canadians, about our identity, about protecting democracy, freedom of speech, freedom of information? Really? Do you really think so? I don't. Especially with a lot of the stuff that I've been uncovering. Watch my previous episodes if you're a new subscriber, and if you are, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, because there's lots of information out there that a lot of people aren't talking about. This is absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Moving on. Sam Cooper. The legend. The one. The only. More breaking news. Why the Liberal Party is slow on foreign agent registry is because CSIS doesn't have the proper tools to tackle foreign interference. And now, the kicker is what happens when the main person involved that was pushed and helped the most in order to achieve power ended up becoming the Prime Minister and having information to all of CSIS documents? I'm going to show you that right away, which we already know, and I've proven in previous episodes. I urge you to watch my 3-part series on the Palestinian-China takeover of Canada. So I'm just going to go right to this. Now, I made a mistake. I thought this was taken the other day, so I'm going to correct that. This was actually taken way earlier during the whole pandemic. Howard Shen, a senior Liberal organizer and former president of the Jiangsu Commerce Council of Canada, now under scrutiny after Prime Minister Mark Carney falsely denied meeting the group during his January leadership campaign, is seen in a pandemic-era video delivering PPE alongside Liberal MP Majah Jowhari in the council's president, Ru Jiang, in what appears to be a Chinese Communist Party coordinated operation. It is one of many concrete pieces of evidence emerging from years-long investigation by the Bureau, which is Sam Cooper's news, into the JCCC's structure and leadership, exposing a significant overlap. Let me put this on widescreen just so that you can read everything I'm reading. Between this pro-Beijing business group and the Liberal Party of Canada itself. After the Bureau first revealed that Peter Wen, Mark Carney's hand-picked Liberal candidate to replace Paul Chang, and Markham Unionville had ties to the pro-Beijing networks in Toronto, the Globe and Mail confirmed that Wen held the title of Honorary Director of the JCCC, a group with documented links to Beijing's United Front Work Department. The Bureau's review of the JCC's activities suggests it functions as an elite platform for the Chinese Communist Party's overseas trade messaging inside Canada. While campaigning to replace scandal, weakened Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Carney met with the JCC leaders during a high-profile Lunar New Year's Eve event in Toronto. The group's website described Carney's entry into politics as an important turning point in the upgrading of China and Canada relations. But when confronted by the Globe with web posts documenting the meeting, Carney flatly denied it occurred. I've never heard of this group, he said. Certainly didn't have a meeting with them. I'm sorry. You can't believe everything you read in the Globe. And there he is, which I've already showed you the other pictures. I just wanted to make sure I showed you a correction because this has to be done in order for me to show you this, the actual article. So I kind of read off the first part. I'm going to kind of continue with the original. Yet internal documents, public records, Chinese language media, and event photographs confirm that the JCC and Liberal Party networks in the Greater Toronto Area have long shared operatives and strategic objectives, even collaborating to send PPE to United Front Work Department officials in China during the pandemic. Canadians, you don't matter. All that matters is China. Perhaps most significantly, while the JCC has listed Carney, Markham, Unionville candidate Peter Wen as the honorary board chair, the same writing senior federal executive has been Howard Shen, also the past president of the JCC. The Bureau has sent detailed questions to Carney and the Liberal Party of Canada and Howard Shen as a publication, and none have responded. Shen has fundraised for Justin Trudeau since the 2015 federal campaign in Markham, appearing with then Cabinet Minister John McCallum and many Toronto area Liberal MPs, which I've exposed again in previous episodes. These people are all working for China. As a riding boss, he aligned with the rise of Mary Ng, who succeeded McCallum in a 2017 by-election and was subsequently appointed to Trudeau's cabinet. By the way, who was taken for all the Asian Pacific trade negotiations. Yes. Yes. What does China want? Taiwan. China wants all of Asia, but they specifically want Taiwan. It's not only a very strong country because just the location and what they've built up over time, but it also gives them an advancement further out to sea to take more waters and a strategic point to mount military operations. Now, since we know all that, this goes on and on and on, I'm going to move on and just expose a little bit more. Here you go, 2013 Liberal Leadership Fundraiser for Justin Trudeau. This is where the takeover started. This is where real Liberals started fleeing the party because they saw what was going on and wanted no part of it and knew they were probably going to get booted out and reappointed with somebody who favors China. Pictures speak 1,000 words. And now who's still out campaigning? Yes, Justin is still the Liberal Party. It isn't a new party, people, at all. Note the demographics and the crowds. Here you go, Justin Trudeau. Meanwhile, Justin Trudeau campaigns for Carney in Montreal for the new Papineau candidate.
An opportunity to thank you for all the support and all the contributions to this community that this mosque and its larger community have given over the years. As you know, we are in a federal election once again, and for the first time in 18 years, I'm not running in that federal election. It was a long time serving and leading in for the community here, but I am very, very happy to introduce to you someone who will be a worthy successor to me as Member of Parliament for Papineau, someone who I've known for over a dozen years, who's worked beside me and alongside me in serving the people all across country.
It's the same Liberal Party. They're just making sure to try and hide that best they can in order to finish what they started, which is the decimation of our country. And how do you do that? How is the best way to tackle that? Well, very simple. You do it like the Nazis did it, which is everything that they're doing in their party, they're doing. And I keep trying to get this word out. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I study propaganda. I've done it for decades. My heritage has forced me to because I have a love of history, and I'm just kind of a nerd and read lots of politics and all the rest of that jazz. Fear, hate, and division. Listen very carefully.
The relationship we had with the Americans, these guys weren't wrong. They want us to be the 51st state. They want to break us. They want to break us so they can own us.
Now, what they do, and this is how all of the great fascists did it, is you have plants that you place out into the crowds. I've explained this in earlier. This is how they actually built up Justin Trudeau. They would bring him into a mall, and they had plants all over the place already there. And then they would pretend to recognize him, run up and be like, "Oh, I need your autograph. You're great. Oh my God, you should be the prime minister. I love you so much. I love everything about you." And more of the plants come out. And everybody else, you get triggered, bandwagon effect. You get triggered to look over. Now you're automatically looking because the crowds and the voices are being raised. It's a commotion. It's a natural, it's human. We just do this, fight or flight. We're always part of our surroundings. Certain things trigger that. Then you start looking, and now you're caught. They've cast the line. Now, whether or not you stay to look down and pay attention is where they set the hook. Once they've got you, even if you may go, I'm not a liberal, and you walk away, you've just been brainwashed. Suddenly, when that name comes up, you associate it with good leader. Now, they did the same thing back during the Nazi regime. But what they would do is they would send them out into younger crowds, and they would be specific at rallies when certain people were speaking, trying to get the Führer power. And they would look like normal everyday citizens, but they would help spread fear. Another human trigger, fight or flight. You're dealing with the two sides of emotions. These people are professionals at it. Like I said, some people read books to learn from the mistakes and to understand the enemy. Other people's read those books to use them as a control tactic because they seek power to do the evil that they think is what they were born to do. Like Trudeau, I was born to do this. Like him. Now listen, he has a plant in the back. And he's hyping up fear. He's already done the division, which I've showed you, using Alberta. He's pulling Alberta to the west. He knows that as an electorate, we have no power. But if he can make more of his, where the actual power, the numbers that can control Parliament, divisive and go, oh, those Westerners, then he can take enough votes in the areas he needs. In this case, he's using fear. Now he needs to ramp up fear. Now listen very carefully to the guy in the back. And there's probably 3 or 4, it could be 10, there could be 20. Knowing these liberals, there's 30 or more. Listen carefully to what he says. Fear, hate, and division. This is fear.
They want our resources. They want our water. They want our land. They want our country. And what do we say?
Did you hear that?
You don't have to die. You don't have to die. Never. Our land. They want our country. And what do we say? You don't have to die. You don't have to die. Never. Never.
This is right out of Hitler's playbook. This is right out of the Marxist ideology. This is professional propaganda. And like Gad Saad's little article he posted on X, that conversation, this is what they've been doing for years with the help of the CRTC's regulatory process and making sure only people who pass and preach the word of liberal are the ones that are allowed to get the airwaves. This has been going on for far too long. Far too long. This is a perfect example of propaganda fear. Despicable behavior. And you see what's going on with pro-Hamas in the streets. So now they see it, it's around them. They see it, it's now part of the realm and reality. It's blanketing all of the airwaves because they've got who? Ready? Are you ready? Get the ball. Trump. You've even got Jews who think that this can all be saved by being a liberal. This is starting to tackle the entire world. It's taken over the UK. It's infiltrated France. Sweden and Denmark started hammering down on it with the no-go zones with their police. There's lots of videos out there. Like I said, one of these days I'll do an episode on it. If I can get more likes, shares, and subscribes, especially subscribers involved, I can surpass certain little things that allow me to speak more freely. Which, on this episode, I'm going to get hammered on, but I don't care. Because this has to come out. This has to be said. And these same people have followers that have no idea of history. They're brainwashed by the Marxist ideology without understanding what the outcome of that ideology has done in the past. A great example of that is just like this. This daft individual. This is one of the dumbest people I have ever seen enter and be a member of parliament. I'm talking beyond the pale of stupidity. Rhoda gets up in the House and says how, and this is how stupid they are. Seriously brainwashed they are. How proud he is to bring in a man who fought against Russia during World War II. Complete nincompoop. That, my friends, is an individual who killed my ancestors. Pushed into doing so by propaganda, which is the true power of a fascist ideology. And who was that Pied Piper of fascism? None other than Chrystia Freeland's great-grandfather, which I knew by name years ago. Because it involved my family, my heritage, and she's the one getting up there talking about Ukraine. She has no right. No right. In fact, she's so stupid that she grabbed a Bandera flag at a pro-Ukraine rally, an anti-Russia rally is what it was, and proudly did the banner marching with the people, which CBC, CTV, and all the rest of the propaganda helped her to snuff out. They should be showing it today because she's running again to be a MP. This is important. Those who have no understanding of the past have no right to lead us into the future. We are falling because of imbeciles like people like this. And liberals are brainwashed to it. Now, moving on. Get off that topic. He's Blanchette. Gotta listen to this. He nails it.
He was in Ottawa this week. What do you think about that, and why aren't you taking any days off?
Oh, I didn't answer the part. Why am I not taking any day off? Because I sleep on the bus, mostly. I prepared this election a long time, training and eating well and trying to be as much in good shape as I can be, being on the edge of my 60 years. And I don't feel the need, and I feel the desire to be out there with the people, and I don't have to take a plane or that kind of things. So this is why so far, I don't say I won't, but so far I haven't. I believe that Mr. Carney is trying to get a free ride. He got a lot of momentum at the beginning of the campaign, and they tried to hide him as much as possible, which seems to be pretty easy because he seems to be quite preposterous. I believe that Canadians will do the same as Quebecers do, but they will make their own answers about it. It's not mine to interfere in their election. But the campaign, the shortest possible prime minister candidate for the Liberals, as seldom seen as possible, saying as little as possible and hiding as much as possible, including his participation in the so-called green fund, which actually is 50% oil and gas. There's some questions to be asked, and April 16th and April 17th will be quite a party.
Merci tout le monde.
Merci infiniment tout le monde.
Now, that was taken on the 12th. And Carney is still in hiding. Because if you watch my previous episodes, you will see all of the scandals this piece of crap is involved in. This man is evil. Absolutely evil. Now, welcome to Canada, people.
Video captures the moment a police officer was intentionally set on fire during an arrest. The fire starts off the video surveillance to the right. Then the officer appears with flames engulfing their lower body. As they try to run away, another officer runs in right before the fire erupts. Before this, Vancouver police say a suspect tried to run from the officers. The suspect was wanted Canada-wide for 10 offenses. Police believe he used a flammable substance to set the officer's uniform on fire and then ran. A 40-year-old Vancouver man was arrested. He is in jail and has been treated for burns. If approved by Crown, he will be facing charges of assaulting a police officer with a weapon, obstructing a police officer, and breaching a release order. As for the officer, they are recovering at home, and the other officer does not have any physical injuries. These officers were working for a task force that is focusing on dismantling organized crime and targeting criminals in the downtown east side. 35 Vancouver police officers have been assaulted this year. Elena Kelly, Vancouver's Awesome, Vancouver.
Absolutely. What have we become? Man, have we fallen from grace? You think after a long time you become desensitized to a lot of this stuff, but as a Canadian, we got big hearts. There's a lot to chip away at. And I tell you, it literally chokes me up seeing stuff like this happen. But when you have police officers, like at the Hamas protest, who allow Hamas protesters to spit on them and let them free and not charge them, how do you ever How can you ever hold respect? You're just giving it away. When you allow hate speech like that, purposeful, spiteful, when they say from the river to the sea, when they literally preach genocide, loudspeakers, on the streets, that's not freedom of speech anymore. That's crossed the line because you are threatening not only a person, an entire people. It's self-destruction. The government is purposely allowing this to happen. Fear, hate, and division. The best way to hold power is over chaos. This is what they're allowing on our streets. They are going to flood us with so many immigrants, unvetted, with zero expectations of ever becoming Canadian. Remember Trudeau's famous words? A Canadian's a Canadian's a Canadian. Really, everybody's a Canadian. And how people who come here without needing to do that process are actually even more Canadian. That man, more Canadian. 10 warrants. Hamas, how many of them are actual Canadians? Why are you covering your faces if you're so proud of what you're saying? Here I am. I get constant fans that tell me, man, you better be careful where you go. And I have Sikh friends. I have Indian friends. I'm friends with Canadians. All ethnicities, but Canadians. The few radicals that are out there, whatever. I'm more afraid of my government after seeing what they did to Natasha Montreal. That's who I'm scared of. And if they get power, they're going to finish the censorship bill. They're going to pass a hate speech law against only one class of individual, and that's those that speak against the government. They place one culture above another. This is exactly what happened when Hitler took over Germany. It's the same thing. We're just repeating history, and those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope the material wasn't a little bit too graphic for you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And if you are, punch that notification bell so you don't miss any future episodes. That's a lot to take in. We're just going to keep on throwing you the truth. Sorry, just the truth. Until next time, I'm Alias Tagay. This has been the Canadian Citizen Journal. Stay informed.